Hello, my name is Nina Haley and I'm a yoga teacher here at Tru3 Yoga in Salmiya, Kuwait. Today's practice is a basic yoga practice that includes Warrior 2, Reverse Warrior, and extended side angle pose along with triangle. So you may need yoga blocks to get into some of the postures a little bit more comfortably. You can also have a blanket to put underneath of your knees for the beginning of the practice during the warm-up. And I hope you enjoy this practice. We'll start out with some simple breathing. So making sure that you're in a comfortable seated position, whether that's sitting in Sukhasana or Siddhasana, making sure that your pelvis is in a neutral position and that the spine is nice and long. You don't want to be rounded through the spine or sitting back on the tailbone. You should be able to lengthen your spine, relax the shoulders, crown of the head reaching up to the ceiling, and the chin is parallel with the floor. So just taking one hand over your heart and one hand over the abdomen. We'll take 5 breaths here to settle in and set an intention for your practice. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through either the mouth or the nose, whichever is more natural, easy, and comfortable for you. Just feeling that gentle lifting and expansion of the chest and the abdomen into the hands on the inhale, and a gentle lowering or a drawing in and contracting on the exhale. 2 more breaths. And just staying with this rhythm of the breath, seeing how it is that you feel today, mentally, physically, and emotionally. How are you? Setting an intention for your practice, whatever it is that you need from this practice. Just repeating that intention to yourself for 2 more breaths. One more. Good. Inhaling and taking the arms up nice and wide, bringing the palms together at the top. And exhaling, mudra. 2 more times. Inhaling, taking the arms nice and wide. Palms come together at the top. And exhale, the hands to the heart. And 1 more. And exhaling, the hands to the heart. Good. Taking a twist here. So left hand comes to the outside of the right thigh. The right hand comes behind you and plants behind your right hip. Lengthen through your spine as you push the floor away behind you, and then gently gazing towards the right, maybe towards and over the right shoulder, not leaning back into that arm, but using it more as a kickstand to lengthen through the spine. Inhaling to lengthen and exhaling to go a little bit deeper. 2 more breaths. Keeping that space between the shoulders, not collapsing into the shoulders. 1 more breath. And exhaling and coming back to the center. Keep the left hand on that right thigh, reaching the right fingertips up to the ceiling and coming into a side bend. So reaching those right fingertips towards the left side of the room. Both of your hip bones stay, or both of the sits bones stay on the mat. So you're pressing both of your butt cheeks, your thighs, and your knees down. 1 more breath here. Good. Inhale, come back to the center, and then just switch your hands. So bringing the right hand to the outside of that left thigh. The left hand comes right behind that. Take a nice, or looking back over that left shoulder here. Inhaling to lengthen and exhaling to twist a little bit deeper. 3 more breaths here. Keeping the spine nice and long. Inhaling and coming back to the right hand on the outside of that left thigh. Inhale, take the left fingertips up and reach over to the right side of the room. Both of those sits bones stay on the floor. Good. Keep that nice connection with your mat. Two more breaths here, lengthening through the left sides of the waist and then pulling that left elbow back towards the back side of the room. One more breath here. And then inhaling and coming back to the center, making our way onto all fours. So you can pop over top of your knees if you don't have any knee issues, if that's not comfortable for you. Then just swinging your knees around to the side and coming onto all fours. Drawing the wrists underneath of the shoulders, knees underneath of the hips, coming into a nice neutral pelvis here, neutral spine. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. And as you exhale, press the floor away, coming into cat pose, looking back as you drop your head. And inhaling and lengthening into cow. Again, drawing the shoulders away from the ears. And then exhale, round, press the floor away, dropping the look back. Good, 3 more at your own pace. Inhaling to lengthen and exhaling to round. Two more. And last one. Good. Inhaling back to a neutral spine here. Taking one of your wrists, rolling it around. You can shake it out here. And then moving on to the other one, rolling that wrist around, shaking it out, and then planting the hand back on the floor. Making sure that the hands are shoulder width apart and the knees are hip width apart. Tucking your toes for downward facing dog. So pressing the floor away with your hands on the balls of your feet. Hover your knees for just a brief second here, and then press your hips up and back towards the wall behind you for this first downward facing dog here. Good. Inhale, come back to all fours. We'll do that 2 more times. So exhale, press the floor away, hover the knees for just a brief second, and then press the hips towards the back side of your mat as you actively press the floor away with your hands. Chest is moving back towards the upper thighs. You're grounding through your heels, but they don't have to touch here. Inhale, come back to all fours. And last time, we're gonna hold for 5 breaths here. So drawing your thigh muscles up and away from the kneecaps here. Remember, your heels don't have to touch. You can be up on the balls of your feet as long as you're pressing your chest back toward your upper thighs and lifting the hips up and back here. So just find a comfortable position for yourself, dropping the head all the way down, looking back. 2 more breaths. Grounding through your hands and your feet here. Settling into the rhythm of the breath, being aware of your intention. Inhale, look forward towards the top of your mat. Rise up onto the balls of your feet and begin to walk your feet all the way up to the top of your mat, bending at your knees as you need to. Walking past your hands if you can, so that you're all the way up near the top of your mat. Bring your hands to your shins, halfway lift and lengthen. So the hips are moving back, crown of the head is moving forward. Exhale, fold forward here, grabbing opposite elbows, slightly bending your knees if you need to. Just let the head and the arms hang nice and heavy, and allow the weight of your body to move towards the balls of your feet versus in the heels here. Just let everything hang for 1 more breath. Releasing the spine, the hamstrings, slightly bending the knees if you need to. 1 more breath. And then releasing the hands back to the shins. Halfway lifting and lengthening. Draw the shoulders away from your ears here. And now exhale, fold forward, release your hands and your head down to the floor using your blocks if you need to. Rise all the way up. So press through your heels, driving your torso up using your core. Fingertips come up to the ceiling. And exhale the hands to the heart. We're gonna hold it here for 3 breaths, grounding through your feet. So imagine that you're growing roots down into the mat, down into the floor. Softening through the knees. Crown of the head reaching up to the ceiling. 1 more breath. If you're comfortable with Om, you can join me with Om, taking a deep breath in through the nose. And exhaling, Om. Good. Inhaling and taking the arms up, fingertips reaching up to the ceiling. Exhaling and folding forward here, releasing your hands and your head down to the floor, using blocks underneath of your hands if you need to. Halfway lift and lengthen. Hands come to the shins. Draw the shoulders away from the ears, lengthen through your spine. Take both of the hands down to the floor. You're stepping your right and then your left foot back for a plank pose here. So you're pressing the floor away, reaching up and out through the shoulders. You're trying to keep your butt in line with your triceps here. Now drop the knees to the floor and slowly lower the chest and then the chin towards the floor. Use the upper body strength. Keep the elbows in tight by the ribs. Good. Inhale, Cobra. Flip the tops of your feet. Draw your shoulders and your elbows back. Press the tops of the thighs into the mat. Create lots of space between the shoulders and the ears. And now exhale, release the forehead down, pressing yourself up onto your hands and your knees. Draw your shoulders under, draw the wrists underneath the shoulders, tuck your toes. Downward facing dog here. You're gonna hold for 4 more breaths, pressing the chest back towards the upper thighs. Making sure that there's space in between your fingers and then pressing your fingertips into the floor so that you're distributing that weight evenly through your hands and into the, or through the wrists. You can even experiment with your triceps being out to the sides and your triceps facing back towards your thighs. Just kind of see how that feels, spinning the triceps. 1 more breath here. Inhaling, looking towards the front of your mat, rising up onto the balls of your feet and walking your feet forward, bending at your knees as you need to. Good. Walk past your hands to get to the top of your mat. Halfway lift and lengthen, hands to shins. Draw the shoulders back and away from the ears. And now exhale, fold forward. Bending the knees if you need to. Root through your heels, rise up nice and strong, engaging through your abdominals. Fingertips come up to the ceiling. And exhale, the hands to the heart. We're going to move through our standing postures next. So taking your right foot to the back of your mat for warrior 2. So the right foot steps back. I'm going to turn on my mat here so that you can see. So the right foot is parallel with the back of the mat and the left toes are facing forward. You're sinking into this posture, keeping your knee tracking over top of your toes, making sure the knee does not collapse in. Should be in line with your front foot here. And then trying to keep the knee in alignment with the heel, maybe a little bit behind, maybe a little bit forward, but not over too far over top of the toes. Your hips are open here. The back leg is straight and strong, and the front leg is bent. You're extending the right arm back and the left arm forward here. Spin your palms so that they're facing up towards the ceiling, and then exhale the palms down here. So you're drawing your left hip back a little bit and creating space here. So it's like you're externally rotating both of your thighs, so rotating them back. I'm gonna hold for 2 more breaths here. Relaxing through your shoulders, but reaching from fingertip to fingertip, and you're gazing at your front middle finger here. 1 more breath. Good, we're coming into reverse warrior, so taking this back hand behind your back, flip your front palm so it's facing up to the ceiling, and then bring the fingertips up to the ceiling. This is a side stretch, not a back bend here. So you're stretching through the front side of the body. Keep turning this back, shoulder and elbow back here. 1 more breath. And then coming back into your warrior 2 for extended side angle pose. So you're reaching your fingertips forward, 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 as far forward as you can. Bring your forearm to the top of your thigh here, but you're not sinking. You're lifting up through the left side of the waist, okay? And then you're turning the heart up towards the ceiling and extending that right arm up and overhead 45 degrees here. So it's like one long line from that back heel, through the hip, through the shoulder, and into the fingertips. But again, you're not collapsing. You should be able to lift this bottom arm here and keep that engagement of the legs. 2 more breaths. You can look down at the floor, you can look out to the side, or you can look up and past and underneath that right elbow. We're gonna rise back up into our warrior 2 here, so strong front leg, lift back into your warrior 2, straightening your front leg for triangle pose. So you're shifting your hips back, reaching your left fingertips forward, 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 placing your left hand very gently, fingertips on the shin, turn the right shoulder up to the ceiling, and then extend the right fingertips up to the ceiling if you're feeling comfortable, or you can keep the right hand on the right hip. You're creating space in between the shoulders, stacking the shoulders here, lifting and lengthening through both sides of the waist. So again, we're not collapsing here. You're lifting and lengthening. You should be able to lift both hands and keep that engagement here. You can always take a block or a stack of books and put it right underneath of your shoulder, resting the fingertips very gently so that you can stack and lift here. So you're lifting and lengthening. 1 more breath. Exhale, look down at your foot. Bend back into that front knee, coming back into your warrior 2. So you're bending into your left leg. Back leg stays straight. We're reverse warrior. 1 more time, bring the back hand behind the back. Flip the front palm, fingertips come up to the ceiling here. Keep that nice, strong left leg. Good, coming back into your warrior 2. Spin your back heel up as you take both of your hands down to frame your front foot. And then step the left foot back to meet the right so that you're in that plank again. Dropping your knees. Keep the elbows in nice and tight as you lower your chest and your chin to the floor. Flip the tops of the feet into the mat and then draw the shoulders and the elbows back for Cobra pose here. Press the tops of the thighs into the mat. Exhale and release it down for downward facing dog. Big push, pressing the floor away. Chest moves back towards the upper thighs as the hips move back. 5 breaths here. One more breath. Coming back to that intention, back to the breath as you inhale, look forward, rise up onto the balls of your feet and begin to walk your feet up to the top of your mat, passing your hands if you need to. Halfway lifting and lengthening, hands to shins, draw the shoulders away from the ears, crown of the head reaches forward. Exhale, fold, release your hands and head down, putting your hands on blocks if you need to. Pressing through your heels, rise up nice and strong, engage. Fingertips come up to the ceiling, and exhale, the hands to the heart. So now we're moving on to the other side. So I'm going to switch over to the other side of my mat. This time we're stepping the left foot back for warrior two. So the left foot steps back, okay? Your back foot is parallel with the back of the mat. This left leg stays nice and strong and straight. Your right knee tracks over top of the right middle toe, and you're externally engaging through your thighs, okay, or externally rotating, making sure that that knee is in line with the ankle, maybe a little behind, maybe a little in front, not too far forward. Extend the left arm back, right arm comes forward. We're creating space here. Lengthen through the chest. Flip the palms up, and then exhale the palms down. You're looking right at your front middle finger here. Relaxing through the shoulders and reaching from fingertip to fingertip here. Nice, strong and engaged legs. 2 more breaths. Bring the back hand behind the back. Reverse warrior, flip your front palm. The fingertips reach up to the ceiling as you lengthen through the front side of the waist. So the right side of the waist. It's not a back bend, it's a side stretch here. So you're reaching the fingertips up and stretching through that right side of the body. Good. Exhale, coming back into your warrior two. Take a nice inhale here. Extended side angle pose. Reach your fingertips forward, forward, forward as far as you can get them. Then bring that forearm to the top of the thigh. Turn the left shoulder up to the ceiling as you lift the right ribs away from the right thigh, like you're turning the right ribs up to the ceiling. And then extend that left arm up and overhead here as you sink into the hips. Good. One nice long line. Nice extension. Again, you should be able to lift that right arm up and away from the right thigh. Stay long through both sides of the waist. 2 more breaths here. And you can look down at the floor. You can look out to the left side of your mat, or you can look up and past that left elbow. We're coming into our warrior two. Strong legs. Lift. Back into warrior two for triangle pose. So straightening that front leg. The hips shift back. You're reaching your fingertips forward, forward, forward. Release the hand down to either the shin, a block, a stack of books. Nice gentle release here. Turn that left shoulder up to the ceiling. Stack the shoulders and extend the left fingertips up here. You're long through both sides of the waist. We're not collapsing. You're lifting and lengthening, and you're drawing that left shoulder back here. Tucking the right hip under. 1 more breath here. Exhale, look down at your foot. Bend into your front knee. Come back into your warrior two. Strong legs here. Back hand comes behind the back, reverse warrior. Good, we're gonna take it back into that warrior two. Spin the back heel up. As you bring the hands down to frame your front foot, step that right foot back into plank here, dropping the knees. Elbows are in nice and tight. Drop the chest and the chin. Inhale, Cobra. Flip the tops of the feet onto the mat, press the thighs down, gently lift, drawing the shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, release the forehead down. Downward facing dog for 5 breaths. So you can lift up onto all fours, draw the wrists back under the shoulders, tuck the toes, lifting it up, and we're holding for 5 breaths here. Actively pressing your chest back towards your upper thighs, push the floor away. Looking back in between those upper thighs, engaging through your legs. You can bend the knees if you need to, lift the heels, whatever feels right for you. Grounding through the hands and the feet, coming back to the breath. 2 more inhales and exhales. Inhaling and dropping down to all fours. Good, nice and controlled here. Gonna take some circles here. Inhaling, rotating the pelvis and the shoulders in a big circle. Inhaling forward and exhaling back. Changing directions and going the other way. Taking the shoulders as far forward as feels good for you, and the hips as far back as feels good for you. And this next rotation, coming into child's pose, big toes are near each other, spreading the knees as far apart as feels good for you, walking your hands forward, and releasing the head down, 5 breaths. Inhaling and slowly rising up, bringing the knees together, sitting the hips to the side, and we're coming into Baddha Konasana here. So you want to be level on your sits bones with the soles of the feet together and the knees out to the side. You're drawing the elbows in towards the inner thighs, holding on to either the ankles or thumbs in the arch of the feet, and the other 8 fingers on the tops of the feet. And keep your feet nice and active here. Spine is long, so sit on pillows or blankets or blocks so that you can keep your pelvis in a neutral position, spine long, and so you're not collapsing through the shoulders. You're keeping that space, okay? Take a nice inhale here and begin to hinge forward at the waist, drawing your elbows back into the inner thighs, only taking it as far forward as you can keep your spine long. So once you begin to rise round through the spine, you've gone too far, you'll back yourself out until you can come into that nice long spinal position, dropping your chin to your chest here. Two more breaths. And gently releasing. Taking the hands to the outsides of the thighs or the knees, drawing the knees in towards each other. And we're coming into a reverse table here. So I'll turn this way. So the feet and the knees are hip width apart, okay? And you're drawing the heels in slightly, but you want to make sure that you have some space. You bring the hands back behind you and you decide what feels better for your shoulders and for your wrists. So fingertips can be facing towards your buttocks, out to the sides of the room, or maybe even back. I prefer fingertips facing towards the buttocks, but you can decide what feels good for you. So for a reverse table here, you're lifting the hips up on the exhale to help protect your pelvic floor here. So straightening the arms or keeping them slightly bent here, and then lifting the hips up as you exhale. Lifting the hips up as high as you can. Keep your chin to your chest here, and the soles of the feet stay flat on the floor. Keep your knees from collapsing inward or outward. Again, they stay in line with the hips, and then slowly release the buttocks back to the floor. We're gonna do that 2 more times. So take a nice inhale, and exhale, lift the hips up, pressing the hips up as high to the ceiling as you can. We'll hold for 1 more breath. Squeezing your buttocks, engaging through your thighs and your triceps, and then slowly releasing it down. Good, 1 more time, nice inhale. And exhale, push through the heels and the hands, lifting the hips up, hold for 3 breaths. And slowly lower the hips back to the floor. Taking the hands to the front side of the shin. We're gonna do a few seated cat-cows here. So taking a nice inhale, lengthen through the chest. Exhale, round through the spine, dropping the chin to the chest. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, round. And again, inhale. And exhale. 2 more, inhaling and lengthening. Exhaling and rounding. 1 more breath. Rolling yourself all the way onto your back here. Pulling the knees into the chest. Rocking the knees in and out. Releasing the feet down to the floor. Taking your feet as wide as your mat and allowing your knees to fall in towards each other for 3 breaths. And then separating the knees, bringing the feet back onto the mat, extending them out, extending your legs out into traditional Shavasana. So tucking the shoulders under, palms can be facing up or down, whatever feels right for you, allowing the feet to fall out to this side. But if lying in Shavasana is not comfortable for you, or if this is just not the right resting posture for you, then you can always come into a side lying posture by rolling onto your side into Parva Shavasana. Your bottom leg is straight, the top leg crosses over, and then you're using the arms to support the head here. And if lying on your side is not comfortable for you, then you can always come into Pranamasana by lying on your front in a prone position. And again, just supporting the head with the arms and the hands. I always recommend that you stay in your posture for at least 10 breaths. It's better if you can stay here for 7 to 10 minutes. And if you really like to get into a meditative state, then staying here for at least 20 minutes. So just allowing yourself to settle back into that rhythm of the breath. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through either the mouth or the nose. Observing the breath, witnessing the breath, allowing the body to settle and sink into your chosen resting posture. Coming back to your intention and just repeating that intention to yourself 3 times in the present tense as if it has already manifested or happened within your life. And just breathing life into that intention. Allowing yourself to just be here, now, in this space, in this time. Allowing the breath to be your guide as you settle deeper into relaxation. Again, staying here as long as it feels right for you. And this practice of basic yoga is complete. Hari Om Tat Sat. Thank you for joining me.